In 1951, in a poem titled Harlem, Langston Hughes asked a question I continue to ask myself today. What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun? When my mother was a little girl growing up in the Nigerian village of Ososo, her and her 4 siblings would get super excited whenever one of them would accomplish something noteworthy. Why? Well, it meant that her dad would do the tree thing. That's when a smile would stretch across his face as he climbed a tall tree, branch by branch, all the way to the very top. His children down below would look up at him, eyes wide, sparkling, and full of joy, as he yelled out, "Higher, higher, and higher." Though proud, he was also never satisfied. He had a dream that his children and his children's children would strive for even greater things. A big part of that dream was the pursuit of an education. You see, while in some families, bedtime stories are of dragons, princesses, and castles, in Nigerian families, our stories consist of law school, med school, and Harvard. And I'm only kind of joking. After all, educational opportunity is what drove my parents to trek across the Atlantic from Nigeria to Toronto, Canada before I was born. And so throughout my high school education, I, like many of you, strove for excellence, with hours of study, meetings, and practice, all to fulfill the goal of one day attending Harvard. And on December 13th, 2013, that dream came true. I, along with 2,000 other high school seniors, was fortunate enough to receive an acceptance letter from Harvard University. And my first thought after reading that letter was of my grandfather in that tree. And I knew it was time to aim higher, but I wasn't quite sure yet where to aim. 8 months later, I was preparing for my freshman year at Harvard. Little did I know, events happening over 700 miles southwest of my home in Toronto, Canada, would transform my dream and my life forever. These events would shatter the sheltered comfort of the life my parents had created for me. Because on August 9th, 2014, just over a week before I would arrive at Harvard for the first time, Michael Brown was shot and killed by the police in his hometown of Ferguson, Missouri. Through his death, I saw what happens to those whose dreams are deferred and ultimately denied. They are left to dry up, abandoned, like his dead, murdered body, which lay on the streets of Ferguson under the hot Missouri sun for 8 hours. 8 hours. Just like me, Michael was Black. Just like me, Michael was 18. Just like me, Michael was about to go to college. Unlike me, however, he would never get the chance to see that dream realized. And it was at that moment, it hit me. After years of believing that my grandfather's dream meant educational attainment, the accumulation of accolades, or even acceptance to Harvard, Michael Brown's death woke me up. It made me realize the dream was about much more than how high we could climb in that tree as individuals. It was about how we can encourage and enable those like Michael Brown, whose dreams are deferred and denied, to climb with us. And while education is an essential part of achieving that dream, we often forget it is an incomplete answer. We forget that textbooks don't do much to teach us about compassion, and that problem sets don't necessarily teach us about the unconditional and unfaltering love of others. We forget that whether you are a banker, a teacher, or an activist, the dream should be about creating the conditions for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for everyone who walks this planet. And so while we strive to achieve our dreams with the privileges that this Harvard education affords us, we can't forget just how many dreams have been deferred, denied, and left to dry like a raisin in the sun. You see, I never met my grandfather except through History of Dreams. But today I stand before you as the proud grandson of a Nigerian carpenter, the child of 2 Nigerian immigrants, and a graduate of one of the greatest institutions in the world. Proof that while we all have dreams, some of us have to travel farther to achieve them, both figuratively and literally. My wish is that with our help, more dreams can be converted into realities. That is a calling that the class of 2018 must answer. A dual mandate to do well and to do good. To wake up, look around, and help those whose climb is stifled by the burdens of oppression. Your future, my future, and the future of our society depends on us creating, supporting, and investing in the dreams that the next generation can live up to and build upon. It depends on us looking one another in the eye and telling one another to continue to strive for more, to keep growing, and to never, ever stop climbing. Because the next generation is watching, looking up at us, eyes wide, sparkling, and full of joy as we yell out, higher, higher, and higher.